Live from Sin City, it's the Socks and Pinstripes Podcast. And now, here's the star of the show, Giant Dr. Griffin!
This is Diet Dr. Griffin back with another episode of the Socks and Pinstripes Podcast. Shane's with us today. Got a question for you, Shane.
Okay.
Have you ever been fired before?
Yeah. Okay, so technically yes, but it was after I had already quit and put in my notice.
I've had that happen to me before as well. I put in my notice and then they pretty much just told me to get out the next day.
Yeah, I tried to be super nice and I gave them a month-long notice because
that's too long. That in most cases that's too long.
Yeah. Well, so this was my first ever bartending job that actually paid really well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be super nice to the owner. And then literally 2 weeks later, I showed up. I think it was my bad. I showed up half an hour late, but I was, I kind of apologized and was like, hey, sorry about that, which, wasn't the first time that had happened. And then after my shift, the owner asked for my key and was like, yeah, I got all your shifts covered. Don't come back. And I was like, okay, well, I was going to go to this other place anyway. So
is it a right to work state up in Washington there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing down here. Basically, they can just fire you for whatever they want to fire you for.
Yeah, essentially. I guess Washington is not a right to work state. I just looked up.
Oh.
I just
No, they can when I worked in the casinos, that happened to me where I got canned for my notice. Anywho, the reason why we're talking about this week is that 2 managers have been fired since we last recorded.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Orioles, who are supposed to be a World Series contender, but are in last place in their division.
Yeah. And, of course, the Colorado Rockies.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Rockies are the other, who also in the last place in their division.
Yes, by a much larger margin. And the thing is,
before we get too far into this, Griffin, who is leading the National League Central right now?
The Cubs have a 1-game lead over the Cardinals.
And who's leading the American League Central?
The Detroit Tigers.
No more comments, as you were.
Okay, we just had this interruption for no reason on the show. So what I was trying to get to was that the Colorado Rockies actually won their game last Sunday when they fired their manager, but I guess the 21-0 shellacking they took the previous night was probably the final straw.
Yeah. Zach Gallen couldn't even make it through the Rockies, just got teed up. I mean, everyone got teed up in that game.
Well, that was this week. That was last night. But we're talking about the previous week when the Rockies fired their manager and they had Bud Black fired, who was actually one of the better managers out there in baseball. Bud Black is a 2-time World Series champion, once as a player and then once as a manager. Bud Black was the manager of the Angels when they won the World Series.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, the name sounds familiar. So
yeah. So he was the longtime manager of the Padres from 2007 to 2015. And then he managed the Rockies from 2017 to 2025. And this is a situation here. He's a talented manager, but you can only do what you can do with the players that you got.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a similar situation here with Brandon Hyde of the Orioles, who was just relieved of his duties this week due to
Wasn't he manager of the year last year or 2 years ago or something like that?
Let me pull that up.
I'm pretty sure it was. I want to say
it would shock me if he got a manager of the year because he was the manager of the year of 2023. You were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was because it was when I was reading an article, it was he was fired, but then he was manager of the year 2 years ago or last year or whatever. So
yeah, there seems to be and Brandon Hyde was the manager since 2019. So he was there for a lot of the rebuilding and then got to see a little bit of the success.
Yeah, just never really rebuilt the pitching staff, unfortunately.
And but that's the thing is that like with Bud Black, it's not really his fault. And we were both pretty critical of what the Orioles were doing this offseason with not addressing their pitching.
Hmm.
And we've seen a little bit of Tomoyuki Sagano now, and he's kind of a mid-range pitcher, but he doesn't have overpowering stuff. I mean, this team got desperate. They brought Kyle Gibson back.
Yeah.
I mean, they had no intentions of being serious about upgrading the pitching staff. This
Yep.
this was the club that should have went out and got Garrett Crochet.
Well, they kind of did the same thing that the Mariners did. They found this great player in Leo Rivas to play in the infield and bat in the 9 spot, and not only bat in the 9 spot, but bat 350 in the 9 spot. And then as soon as Dylan Moore got healthy, they're like, "Hey, Rivas, you're making everybody look bad. So we're gonna go back to we're gonna make sure Rowdy Tellez gets his playing time at first because Jerry said we're only allowed to win 85 games this year." So
Well, hasn't Rowdy Tellez hit some home runs lately, though? Hasn't he been playing well?
no, he played well for one series against his former team, and if you take those stats away, he's batting under the Mendoza line.
Well, I'm not talking like the last week or so. I thought Rowdy Tellez had hit a couple home runs. I've been seeing Fat Boy highlights. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. I could have swore Rowdy Tellez has hit like 2 home runs this week.
I sincerely hope he hasn't.
He has hit home runs in back-to-back days on Friday and Saturday.
Whatever, he still sucks.
Okay. Well, it looks like you guys are going to win the Vetter series.
Yep, that's feels good, I think. I don't know.
For those who
Actually,
don't know,
we already won the better series.
yeah, I'm saying you guys have won the Vetter series because you guys
Yeah.
won the last 2 days, and
Yeah.
this weekend is the Eddie Vedder series. Yes, there is an actual series going on between the Padres and the Mariners, where they are playing for this fictitious Eddie Vedder thing. It sounds like something Jeff and I would do, like playing for our little Fox trophy here. And
are we getting, it's like some sort of stupid trophy from Eddie Vedder or something like that?
hold on, Vedder Cup. Yeah, let's see. There's
Yeah,
I don't know if there's actually going to be a physical Eddie Vedder Cup.
The winner of the series will take home the Vedder Cup trophy designed by the Pearl Jam frontman himself. Stupid.
I think it's pretty cool that they're trying something here.
Yeah, I guess they're going the soccer route where everything is a cup now.
But yeah, let's circle back. Let's circle back to the fired managers because I kind of wanted to talk some more about it. I have up the 2025 active roster on
Mm-hmm.
Spotrac for the Colorado Rockies, and it is just bereft of talent. It is just so bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you're still paying Nolan Arenado $5 million in your luxury tax.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
And according to their competitive balance thing, their tax payroll is $143 million.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And they have, so few wins out of it. Now, on the injured side, most of it is, Chris Bryant, who honestly has been one of the worst signings in recent memory.
Yeah.
He fell apart the moment that he signed that deal, basically.
I think probably didn't go to enough oxygen bars up there. So
Yeah, yeah. But there's just so little talent up there, unfortunately. Like,
Goodman seems like he's having a good year though, the catcher so far. So
who's their catcher? Jacob Stallings?
Goodman.
Oh, Goodman, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goodman's listed as a right fielder in their listing, so that's kind of funny.
Okay, yeah. Well, he has catcher eligibility, so
Yeah. I think he probably splits time, but
probably.
The best players, honestly, are like the ones that are making league minimum on that team.
Yeah, yeah, they're prospects basically, or rookies. So.
Yeah, I mean Ezekiel Tovar signed a long-term deal with them. He's making a little over 9 million. But
He
you just
he
have
had a
these
good
like
game yesterday. So
yeah, Tovar's okay. I mean, he's only 23 and he's a good defensive player.
yeah, yeah,
But this is like another one of these teams that just like they went out and they signed like Ryan McMahon for 11 million and he's just a decent defender and not much else. And then you're
yeah.
spending like and then they're spending three out of their four, top healthy players are pitchers. And Kyle Freeland, Antonio Senzentella, and Herman Marquez. Like none of those guys would probably be a four in the Baltimore rotation. They're all terrible pitchers.
Yeah.
Kyle Freeland, Antonio Senzatella, and Herman
That's a lot.
Marquez. Yeah, they're making near over $30 million between the three of them, and none of them I think would be good enough to like be in the top four of the Baltimore Orioles rotation. They're
But the
just
other thing that you got to think about Coors Field is it like literally adds 1 full point to your ERA too.
Yeah. But I
So,
mean, like, no, I mean, nobody even talks about like in fantasy starting them when they're on the road.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just bad pitchers, and they spent their money. They're what little money they've actually spent, they've done so very poorly. So they just
Well, I
decided
wonder what you would have to. I honestly wonder, as the Rockies, how much you would have to overpay for a good pitcher to actually go there, though.
yeah, that's the
Because
thing.
no one is going there willingly. I think it's like any of the top pitchers. I think you'd have to like knock them out, handcuff them, throw them in the back of your trunk, drive them to Colorado, and chain them to the mound before they accept a contract there.
I'm pretty sure like the big free agent signing that they did was Mike Hampton. This was back in 2000. I
Okay.
don't even know if the current ownership group was with the Rockies when this happened, but they signed him to an 8-year, $121 million contract.
Yeah.
So that was at the time, that was the largest contract in baseball history.
Well, okay.
This was quickly before this was like 2 days before the Alex Rodriguez contract. But
Gotcha.
the point is oh, and I'm looking at the Wikipedia article. It said Hampton once claimed that he had chosen to move to Colorado because of the school system.
Exactly. Exactly.
But he had major control issues, and he had like a 5 ERA in 2001, and then he had like a 6.15 ERA, and then he was traded. He was basically just traded away after that.
Well, I was listening to some of the announcers for the Colorado game too, and they were talking about, rotation and movement, and they were saying that because the reason why all pitchers struggle up there is that the ball actually moves a couple inches less because there aren't as many air particles for the ball to come in contact with to move like it does closer to sea level. So
Yeah, yeah, it's the altitude effect,
yeah,
and usually that team has stacked themselves up with some good hitters, but they've just been failing to bring in anything. I mean, the
yeah,
Rockies still are historically bad. And
yeah,
we're just talking about this game that happened last night with Zach Gallen. This game was not in Coors, guys.
yeah. I was in
It
it
was in
was in Arizona,
Arizona.
but that's at altitude. Arizona's at altitude too. Granted, not as high as Colorado, but it is.
But it's
It is
also
up
in a
there.
dome stadium, though, so I don't know if that you
But
still
the
have that.
dome was open. That's what they were saying yesterday. The dome is open and the balls are flying.
Is it retractable? I did
It
not.
is. Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the Arizona stadium was retractable.
Yeah, come on, Griffin, get with the program,
Hold
bro.
on, I've been to Chase Field in like January, and okay, it is retractable. The first
Yeah.
image I'm seeing is of it retracted.
All right.
Dude, I went to a show in January there, and it wasn't
Yeah.
retracted, and it was
Well, you
closed
wouldn't
off.
yeah, you wouldn't expect it to be retracted in January. It gets cold there in the wintertime.
I mean, it's not. It was like in the 70s.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I bet it was in
it
the
was
30s
not
at night
cold that day, okay? It would have been like in the 70s. It would have been great weather.
for the roof to be open.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, write a strongly worded email. I feel like it deserves one.
It wasn't a baseball thing, so maybe they didn't want to open it or something. It was for the Royal Rumble is what it was. So maybe they
Oh,
just
nice.
have the stadium closed.
Okay.
But
Yeah. I feel
I
like you
didn't
have to
know it was
close the top
retractable.
just in case someone wants to come down from the roof and fall again, right? So
Oh, we did not need to go there.
RIP, buddy.
We
RIP.
did not need to go there. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. We did not need to go there.
We
The
can cut it out. You can cut
unintended
it out in
consequences.
post.
So it just I think this is going to be one of these situations where they need to just fire the GM with the Rockies and just move on with new personnel because
Yeah.
there's no way they're going to be able to work with the current group. And ownership is a bunch of little whiny crybabies because they're stuck in the same division with other teams that actually can compete and know what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Oh, well, ownership needs to spend some money. I mean, it's the same
Well,
with
I
John
mean, if they're going to
Stanton.
spend their money and lock up the kind of guys they've locked up, then they're not going to ever be successful.
Yeah, exactly.
There needs to be some a shift in the personnel because all they have is like outfielders right now that project to be anything at the major league level. They have
Yeah.
nothing else.
Yeah.
Now let's circle back to Baltimore here because I feel like this is a classic case of firing the guy before the guy comes in on the white horse and leads them to prominence.
Okay.
I feel like this has happened so many times over the years. Most famously is when Buck Showalter was fired from the Yankees, and then Joe Torre came in and replaced him, and of course they won 4 World Series championships with basically the same team.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's another situation where Joe Girardi was the manager of the Phillies. He gets off to a really slow start. They fire him. They bring in, I think, Rob Thompson. I think that's the guy's name now. And then
Yeah.
Phillies make the playoffs that year as the sixth seed, go to, I think, is that the year they went to the World Series? I feel like that was the
Uh,
year they went to the World Series.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think they went to the World Series that year and have pretty much been like the team that everybody thought they were going to be since then. I just think that we're going to be running into one of those situations where whoever they hire in the offseason, I think is going to probably be a big name and have a lot of pressure on their shoulders to take this team to the promised land. I just don't think there's going to be some guy they can bring off the bench that's going to be able to do it. I think it's going to be a real guy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw this name out there now, having not thought about it for any amount of time. But I'm gonna say Joe Madden.
Really? Okay.
I'm gonna say that name now. I think
Heard it here
him,
first. So
yeah, I think they need to make a big hire at the manager position because this team has too much talent, especially on the offensive side, to not make it make a run out of it. Like
okay.
if Tito didn't take the Reds job this past year, this would be like a great fit for him.
Yeah.
A bunch of young kids that would listen to him and have that World Series winning experience. And Joe Madden had that World Series win with the Cubs. Like he could be the guy that comes in and does it. Now I don't know if that's something they're going to consider, but and I've been widely critical of Joe Madden over the years. If you like to know
Gotcha.
why?
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's smart because he wears glasses.
Really? He's one of
Yeah.
those guys.
Yep, I am one of those guys. But I mean, we didn't get to see Madden wearing the mohawk when he was with the Angels, and things ended so horribly with the Angels. I think he just would probably want to come back. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of would they do it?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I also think of the same type of thing with Dan Wilson having all of the success with the Mariners right now. Granted, just give us time to fall, a couple games behind Texas and Houston, where we always wind up. But it's the same exact team that Scott Service had before him, and the only difference is he's not here to put Andres Munoz in when he should. And so Dan Wilson's just coughing up homers late in the game to other teams. So,
Oh, well, I just got a little bit of news. I didn't see this news this morning, but apparently Phillies reliever Jose Alvarado tested positive for testosterone in the drug policy.
whoa, okay.
Suspended 80 games.
Hi, Jose. He was
Yeah.
kind of having an up and down year, but he's still one of the better relievers. So,
Yeah, a little up and down. I mean,
who
2.7. Hmm?
who has him on our in our league? That's going to be.
Um, I'm pretty sure it's Jeff, but I am not 100% sure. But I'm
No,
fairly
yeah,
sure.
it already says suspended too. So,
Yeah, I just saw it 2 hours. It was like 2 hours ago that
yeah,
it
yeah,
happened.
it's Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a feeling, and of course Yahoo has their whatchamacallit, those ampersand, the apostrophe symbols in with the letters when you try to search somebody's name.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know where it is in his name, but it's there, and it's like, oh,
It's on the E. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. See, like you try to search for it, and then you don't know where it's coming from, and then yeah.
yeah.
And apparently, they're saying that he tested positive during the off season, which is interesting. That you,
Why'd they wait so long? I mean, we're almost to the Midsummer Classic, so
yeah, yeah. That's the interesting thing. I feel like this already happened with somebody earlier this year with getting suspended, and then like it happened from the off season testing, and that like the teams didn't know about it.
oh, it was
Yeah,
it was
I can't.
Dirks and Profar.
Jurison Profar, yes, I knew
Yeah,
we talked about this.
yeah, because I was like, she had such a monster year last year, and then I was like, ah, okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah,
Wasn't
so
wait, didn't he get traded to the Rockies? Where did he go?
no, well, he was with the Rockies for 1 year.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
he signed a deal with the Rockies. He did
Where did he
nothing.
go after San Diego? Where
Well,
was
he
he
was in
supposed to be?
Atlanta now.
Oh, Atlanta. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he signed a 3 year, $45 million deal with the Braves, and then immediately got popped. But he got tested. He got tested during the offseason. They're immediately saying that Alvarado was tested for positive for like they're saying it was some kind of weight loss drug that he took in the offseason.
Oh, hmm.
And he tested positive in the offseason. So why did it take so much longer for
Yeah,
Alvarado to get
that's what
suspended
I'm
than it did
curious.
than it
They're
did
like, oh,
Profar?
the Phillies are a contend. The Phillies are immediately a contender. So we'll like let it. Let them.
Well, the Braves, though. I mean, the
I
Braves
mean, the
were
Braves. The Braves have won 15 in a row to get to where they're at. So that's kind of like
I mean,
that's baseball
Profar
basically.
was
But
like banned in like the first week and a half of the season.
yeah, so maybe they want the Braves to make a run and the Phillies to trail off.
I don't
It's
know. I
all
mean,
conspiracy.
and here's the other thing. Based on the rules, Alvarado is ineligible for the postseason too.
Really?
Yeah, that's a rule. If you get positive, you get tested positive, you are ineligible for the postseason.
Well, I mean, you live in Nevada. That sounds like the casinos petitioned that there's probably too many bets and the Phillies look too good for the World Series, and now they're trying to cripple them so they can't win.
Oh, I don't think they care that much about that.
I'm just kidding.
Well, speaking of other pitchers who went down, the Royals, they took a double whammy this week with Seth Lugo and Cole Reagans going on the injured list.
Oh wow, that's a tough one.
Yeah, Reagans is their ace, and he, like Hunter Green, has a groin issue.
Yeah, say goodbye to him for 2 months. I'm already working on week 2, 3, 2, I think, something like that.
I'll get Strider back this week from
Oh
his
yeah, that'll be good.
wacky hamstring incident that he got while playing catch. How, how, how do you strain your hamstring just playing catch?
I mean, you
I mean,
throw.
he was. It didn't even say he was like pitching a bullpen or something. Literally just playing catch. He must have just like ran to maybe somebody like missed. He missed the glove or something. He just overextended or something. I don't know
Or the
how he
guy
would.
who was, or the guy who was playing catch was like, "Bro, bet you can't throw that far."
Yeah, I don't know. Long.
That's how I would pull my hamstring playing catch. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Oh
maybe there
yeah,
was some
let me
kind
show
of.
you.
Maybe there was already some kind of hamstring from when he pitched last, and then he just aggravated it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Lugo has a finger issue, so I think he'll probably be on the shorter side. I don't know how long Reagan's going to be out for. How long is Hunter Green going to be out for?
Oh, he's IL 15, so 2 months.
Oh, you're just going all negative here.
I guess.
I had
Oh,
to.
actually, hold on. I just got an update. So he threw a successful bullpen session on Sunday. He told reporters that he didn't experience any physical issues during the throwing session, and his fastball velocity was back at his usual levels. So he said he's ready to return to Cincinnati's rotation without needing a minor league rehab start. So it looks like he'll return before the end of May. So actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Green wants to win. Let's go, Hunter. You're a major part of my pitching staff, and I can't afford to lose you since Sandy and Zach just don't have it this year.
No, it doesn't
Oh,
appear.
the other one, the other pitcher who went down was Aaron Nola this week too.
Yes, another pitcher that you have on your team.
And apparently, this is his excuse for why he's been playing so bad this year was because he twisted his ankle or something like that. So he was playing on a bad ankle, which honestly would make you pitch pretty terribly. So he is 1-7 on the year so
According
far.
to this, he said that he suffered the injury prior to his start in Cleveland.
Okay. So he
So,
was playing bad and then just continued to play bad because his ankle hurt.
yeah, I mean, in his past two starts, he had given up 5 home runs in
Yeah.
8.2 innings.
Yeah, I can't believe I was feeling so good about being 4 home runs in the pitching category, like below you. I was like, there's no way I lose this category. And then Zach Gallen coughed up 4 himself in less than 5 innings yesterday.
Yeah, that's the more crazy thing that the Rockies
Yeah.
scored. They
I'm just like,
scored.
I pulled up the matchup and I'm like, what is going on right? And I was like, Zach, why? Why, buddy?
Well, we were joking around this week about how you were hitting like so well, and then um because at one point your slugging percentage was over 700 at like the middle
Yeah,
of the week.
it was a little bit obscene. I will give you that. So,
Yeah, and so like, and you kept saying without fail, I have had the lead every single week on Wednesday. And I have lost every single week since you beat me the first week of the season.
exactly.
And where we're at right now is basically an even matchup. I have a 9-8 lead on Sunday with multiple categories tied, and like runs and on base percentage are like neck and neck, and then wins on the pitching side, wins, losses, home runs are tied. Yeah,
Yep.
Zach Gallen gave up 4 home runs yesterday and
I cannot believe it. I felt so good about that. And then
I
I
can't
look
blame
at
you.
it.
I mean, the Rockies, the worst team in the Rockies on the road, it's like
Yeah.
I would have if I had Zach Gallen in that situation, I would have started him too.
Started him
So
too. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Can't win.
yeah, yeah. So
Whatever. It happens. That's what baseball is all about. So I don't think
what's
I
no
don't know.
saying that's
I don't know if I'm going to
baseball's.
make the playoffs this year. So we'll see. So
Well,
there's
I
still a
mean,
lot of baseball left. So.
it's 6 out of 10 teams make the playoffs in our division, in our
Yeah, and I'm
league.
6 games back right now from the sixth place spot. So I don't want to
Yeah.
fall too far behind.
Well, we'll see here.
Yeah.
I took a screenshot earlier on my phone, and of course, my phone is terrible at pulling up screenshots. Okay. So this is my contribution to the strange stat category because I usually leave that to you.
Okay.
Um, the Diamondbacks going into the game last night were 151 and 0 in franchise history when scoring 12 plus runs.
Mm,
The now 8-win Rockies snapped that streak last night.
that's crazy. How many years is that? That's a long time.
Well, I mean, just since they started their franchise, so late
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they
Yeah.
are now 234 and 4 when scoring 11 plus runs in a game.
Whoa.
Three of those losses are in 2025.
Oh, that's even more interesting.
How do you lose that? Wow, this losing 3 games in a month and a half when you've scored 11 plus runs.
Man, I guess, yeah,
I
that's
almost want to
interesting.
look at the actual schedule and just see what games they lost to who.
Next week, please, because now you have piqued my
Well,
interest.
I'm
So.
next week. I'm gonna forget about this. I'm gonna do this right now
Sticky
because
note.
I have it on. Okay, so the first game they lost 13 to 11 to the Cubs.
Okay.
That was on Friday, April 18th.
Okay. So beginning of the year.
Let's see. Okay, so they lost a game to the Dodgers 14 to 11.
Okay. That'll happen.
And then of course they lost last night 14 to 12.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there you go. There are your 3 losses when they scored at least 11 runs.
All at home or on the road or
Let's see.
mixed bag or
The 2 out of 3 were at home. The Chicago game was in Chicago.
oh, okay.
So,
Wind must have been blowing out to center field that day.
yeah, although they call Chicago the Windy City, but it's not windy because of the actual wind. Did I ever tell you this?
No, what is why is
So,
it windy?
so the whole deal was that the reason they call it the Windy City was because of the gas bag politicians back in like the early 1900s when they were
Okay.
trying to get like the World's Fair to come there, and
Yeah, which
they
they
were
wound up succeeding in doing,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yes, they were successful, and they ended up calling the windy gas bags that were like saying all this stuff about other places. I think it was St. Louis they were like bragging on.
Dude, we had such great nicknames back then.
Yeah. So the Windy
I think
City
I think we
is
bring back allowing politicians to be rude to each other. That was pretty hilarious.
I don't think
If
that
they're
ever
gonna
went
steal,
away,
if they're gonna
dude.
steal our money and give it to corporations, we might as well be able to just like call them whatever names we want.
I don't think that ever went away, honestly. I don't think that ever actually went away. I think
That's true. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I learned this when I went on a architectural boat tour in Chicago, which was
Ooh, that sounds fun.
yeah, it was definitely a fun thing. If you go to Chicago, I would definitely do that. They even accented the point on the cruise where the Dave Matthews Band bus let out all of their fecal matter onto one of the architectural boat tours,
That's awesome.
which was a pretty famous thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool architecture in Chicago. So while you're
Yeah.
trying to look for things to do to kill time between going to a Cubs and a White Sox game, go take an architectural boat tour. We'll learn a lot about the city.
Yeah.
I know I did. I know so little about Chicago.
So the national park with the dunes that I was thinking of is Indiana Dunes, which is I always forget how close the border of Indiana is to Chicago. But they also have a really cool state park called Starved Rock State Park. That's like 30 minutes or so away. That's supposed to be really cool. And there was a bunch of murders there. So
Oh. Well, that's not this kind of podcast. Maybe that's some other kind of
no.
podcast talk about
National Park After Dark. Listen if you haven't listened yet. So
Do you have any closing remarks besides that interesting little tidbit about national parks?
no, that's actually it for me since you did the cool stat category.
I
I
did
think,
that today. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. I didn't
yeah,
even send that to you ahead of time. I just found that on my own.
yeah. No, I was fascinated by that, so I think that counts. So you deserve it, Griffin. Okay.
Okay. I will take it, and hopefully one of us won't be complaining about winning or losing this week.
Yeah, well, that's definitely going to happen. So,
Yeah. Because I finally, after all of these years of playing fantasy baseball on Yahoo, I finally made Diamond this week,
oh yeah, I
which is
hope I take you
like
down.
the 1% of like the 1% people get to that. And I'm just I am
One loss
hoping and
away from going back to platinum, is it, or something like
yep,
that?
yep, yep. Yep. Long time coming. So I'm crossing my fingers that I'm able to hold on to Diamond for another week.
All right. Well, good luck to you. So,
Otherwise, I'll just have to get it back for the end of the year because I'm still doing pretty well overall.
yeah, that's true. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, see you guys.
bye now.